Hi guys, welcome back to Golden Reviewer. Today we are going to unbox this very interesting smartphone. Firstly, just look how small the package is. The overall package is actually smaller than a S21 Ultra. And this is the QIN F21 Pro. I think this is a sub-brand of the Xiaomi group. It's a very special and distinctive device. Yeah, just look at how small it is. And okay, let's open the box. And here is the device itself. Does it remind you of the Nokia from maybe 20 years ago? Yeah, so this is the kind of device that has it's a bar shape and it has a very small display and it has the number keypads. Indeed, very interesting. Accessory, very simple, just a SIM pin and the USB Type-C cable. There's no charger, and I guess that's just to save cost because this device costs less than $100. Okay, so now let's put the box aside and take a look at the device itself. Now I'll actually put the specs of this device on the left so you can have a look. And let's take a look around this device. Yeah, again, just check out how small it is. It's like nothing compared to your modern huge flagships like the S21 Ultra. It just feels nothing in your hand. Okay, now let's take the device out of its plastic wrap. And actually it does look very nice to me. It's built from plastic, of course. You can't expect metal for this price range. But the build quality does feel very nice. It's like a sturdy device. It's not like those cheap and lousy ones, okay? So it does feel nice. And yes, until now, I still don't understand why any manufacturer would paste the sticker on the device just like that. I mean, it's inhumane to do so. Oh yes, this thing is so beautiful, right? And also, let's remove the screen protector. And I will give you some time to look around this device again. So there is your single camera on the back. It's a 5 megapixel one, and it actually has a LED next to it. And now let's turn on the device and take a look around the system. Okay, so I've turned on the device and finished the initial setup. And this is your lock screen. You can either swipe up or press the start button to enter the home screen. And then you can either use the touch screen to navigate, or you can use the so-called navigation button to navigate around the system. And this is actually a pretty standard Android device. So you see you have this quick settings panel, which you are pretty familiar with. And let's go to settings, about phone to check the system information. And this thing actually runs on Android 11. How interesting is that? So this runs on the latest Android system. It might be newer than many of our own devices. So let's take a look around the settings app again. And let's go to the display. So you actually have night light, which should be the same thing as the eye comfort mode. So basically adjust the screen temperature to make your eyes more comfortable at night. And then you also have this auto brightness, or you can control the brightness manually from this slider. So all these are pretty standard Android things. Next, let's take a look at this device camera. It has a very simplistic camera setup. So it's a 5 megapixel camera on the back and a 2 megapixel on the front. So not impressive numbers, no multi-camera, but I guess it does get work done. The camera quality is actually better than I thought. The shutter lag is also quite acceptable. It's pretty responsive. And here is a simple camera comparison with the S21 Ultra. Guess I don't have to tell you which one is which. And the front-facing camera is actually very interesting. It's at the bottom of the phone, and it takes part of that hash button. So this might give you some weird angles if you are doing video call or just taking a selfie. So you have to adjust the angle carefully. And here is a comparison with the S21 Ultra front-facing camera as well. Another nice thing about this device is the LED light beside the camera. So a lot of the budget device doesn't actually have this, but this device has it. So if you are in the dark and you need a torchlight, this is very helpful. Another interesting thing is that this phone actually does not allow you to install any APK. I guess this is a phone for the students or for the elderly. So this is for their, I don't know, security or mental health, or for the parents to just to manage them, right? But anyway, if you just want to install an APK, it will tell you that it's prohibited. And you can only use the built-in software market to install a very restricted set of apps, right? Mostly related to study. So I guess this is a student phone, so you are not supposed to play games on this. One more interesting thing about this device is that there is actually an infrared blaster built into the device. So it can be used as a remote control for your common household appliances. For example, I set up my air conditioner and it can actually control my aircon without any problem. So that's a nice thing to have. Oh, and one more thing, if you look around this device, you see that there is no physical volume buttons. So that means you can only adjust the volume inside the system using software. So there is a volume controller in the quick settings panel, and that's your only way to adjust volume. Okay, next comes the interesting and exciting part of this review. Remember I said this phone does not allow you to install any third-party apps other than from the built-in app store. But this is Android, right? Being Android means infinite possibilities. So I actually find a way to get around that restriction and be able to install any apps I want. So of course I installed the common benchmark apps like the Geekbench, Antutu, and 3D Mark. And I also installed some games. So let's check out the benchmark performance and also the gaming performance of this device. And let's start with Geekbench 5. Because the performance of the SoC is just too weak, the Geekbench 5 actually took 11 minutes to finish. I guess none of you actually wants to watch it to run the test, right? So I just fast forward and let's check out the results. Okay, so we get 150 for single core and 524 for multi-core. I guess that's around 15% of the performance of your flagships, like the Snapdragon 888. Next, we'll run Antutu benchmark, and this test will also take a very long time. In fact, if I remember correctly, it should be around 15 minutes. So we'll also fast forward, right? Because don't want to waste your time on this. Yeah, so let's go to the end of the test and just directly check out the results. So we get around 94,000 for Antutu benchmark. That is about 10-11% the performance of your Snapdragon 888, I guess, because if I remember correctly, the Snapdragon 888 could score around 800 to 900 points. Okay, so lastly, let's test the 3D Mark benchmark. Okay, and for 3D Mark, we cannot run wildlife because it says the device is not supported. So we have to go with slingshot. But anyway, let's start the test. For this 3D Mark test, we get 253 points. I guess it's not a very good result because you see in the graphic test, the FPS is only something like 1.2, 0.7. Quite pathetic, right? And we can compare the result to other devices. So most of the flagship devices should get around 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 even. And so this is around, I don't know, 4% or 5% of their performance. You know what's more interesting than the benchmarks? Let's actually try to run the Genshin Impact game on this device and see how it performs. Apparently the loading is going to take a very long time. In fact, it took the device over 5 minutes to actually finish loading the game. So just like the benchmarks, I'll actually fast forward for this loading part because it's a waste of your life, okay? And moment of truth, we can actually enter the game. So yes, this device is able to run Genshin Impact, it's able to launch the game. I don't know about the performance yet, but at least we are in the game now. As you can see, the game is very laggy. Of course, what do you expect, right? And all the buttons are extremely small, so it's very hard to press those buttons. Now I'm going to go to graphics settings and try to turn every setting to lowest possible and see whether the game will be at least playable. Okay? Because this device actually blocks the ADB access, so apparently I cannot use my software to monitor the FPS and the power consumption and all those metrics. But I guess it doesn't really matter, right? It's just for fun. The testing is just for fun. So I've turned everything to lowest and I'll try to play the game for a couple of minutes. And I'll stop talking and you can just enjoy. I mean, can you enjoy the game? I don't know. Just enjoy the video, the footage anyway. Okay.
This is order. Stabilize. Stabilize. Don't get frostbite. Freeze. Solidify. Dodge this.
Alright guys, so that's it for the Genshin Impact game test. I have to say it's not very enjoyable. It's pretty laggy. It's actually too laggy for me to be able to enjoy the game. Yeah, so next let's move on to PUBG Mobile. PUBG Mobile actually does not require as high performance as Genshin Impact, so I have high expectations for this device. Hopefully it can play PUBG Mobile smoothly. And this time the loading only took 2 minutes plus. It's much better than Genshin Impact, right? It only took less than half of the time to load the game. So it's looking great. And as for graphic settings, anything above balanced is not supported, so we can only choose between smooth and balanced. As for frame rate, we can only choose between low and medium. In PUBG Mobile, the medium FPS is actually 25, if I remember correctly. So the FPS is locked at 25 max. So we'll go with smooth graphic settings and medium FPS. So we'll try to make it as light, as smooth as possible. Now let's go ahead and start a multiplayer match. Firstly, before starting, I have to say sorry to my teammate because apparently I'm going to be the lousy one in the team. But yes, this is for science, right? So please pardon me. And this time the game actually only took about 30 seconds to enter the multiplayer game and load up the map. So everything is actually looking pretty promising to me. The loading is fast, the overall UI is quite smooth, and the only question is, can the game itself run smoothly? Okay, and I have to say that I'm amazed. This is actually pretty smooth. I guess the device might be actually running the game at the 25 FPS cap. So yeah, it does feel pretty smooth and playable, except that the display is just too small for me to actually do anything meaningful. But the game runs smoothly, yes. Alright, so now I'll shut up and let you enjoy the gameplay on this QIN F21 Pro of the PUBG Mobile, which is a very unique experience. Yes, please enjoy the video.
Let's go! Let's go!
Alright guys, so today we have unboxed and has some first impression of this QIN F21 Pro, and we managed to install some benchmark apps and benchmark it, and we also made it possible to run Genshin Impact and PUBG mobile game on this device. So I'd say overall it's a very interesting experience, and this device is also a very interesting device. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and thanks for watching. See you next time.